All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
Well, I got a burr under my saddle.
We talk, you listen.
Somebody that's going to take an innocent life is not mentally insane.
You know them.
Time to nut up or shut up.
You love to hate them.
It's the Denton and Sasquatch Show.
Can I bring my AR-15 next time?
Sure.
Yes.
This place is half talk show, half weird daycare. I love it.
You can't handle the truth.
Hello and welcome once again to the Denton and Sasquatch Show, coming to you from California and Alabama. My name is Sasquatch. I'm in California. His name is Denton. He is in Alabama. Somehow, through modern technology, we come together and talk at you.
It's a beautiful thing. Now, get this right off the bat. If you want to go and see where we type our nonsense, you can go to prepperforums.net. That's prepperforums.net. Stephen, you're an idiot.
That's an inside joke for anybody at Prepper Forums.
Now, we have an email address if you want to say anything to us through that new modern technology. And Sass, what is it?
I believe it's Denton and Sass Show at gmail.com.
That's Denton and Sass Show at gmail.com. It's caused a little confusion the way we say it, but so Denton and Sass Show at gmail.com. We're a little bit late. Yes, this is Thursday evening, and now we're recording, and that's because those of you who follow us know that Sass has a fiance. She's a beautiful, smart, sweet girl, but her grandmother passed away recently, so we had to put it off until now.
Yep.
So condolences to Hot Nursey and the rest of her family.
Selfish old lady, knew I had to do this show, but went and died anyway.
You know how old people are. Everything's about them.
Of course.
So, what is going on in your direction?
Well, I want to do a little public service announcement right off the bat here. Any of you out there happen to be Second Amendment type people? You enjoy the right to bear arms? If so, there is the Rally for the Second Amendment going on in Washington, D.C., November 2nd. Gun owners, rights activists, and lovers of liberty will be gathering on the lawn of the Capitol in Washington, D.C. on Saturday, November 2nd, 2019 at 1 in the afternoon. If you want more info or would like to register, go to secondamendmentrally.com. That's 2ND, secondamendmentrally.com.
I wish I wasn't some Joe that had to work.
Yeah, I mean, going to D.C. is a long way for a lot of people, but I hope a lot of people in that area can go. I when I first heard about this, I thought, you know what they need to do? They need to have the one in D.C., but then also have them at like the state capital of every other state. I think that would kind of put on like a stronger message.
I went to a 2A rally at Montgomery one time. Flat sure did. Yeah, we have them. And I bet you if people pay attention, I don't know how you'd pay attention, but the Google or DuckDuckGo will tell you. And you just Google that, or see, I keep on saying that. I need to break the habit of saying Google.
Just duck that.
Duck that, and you'll find out if there's going to be one in your area anytime soon. Show up. If you can't go to D.C., I can't go to D.C. I'm not going to go to D.C. I'm afraid of the water. Have you ever voted for an idiot? No. You vote for somebody you think's okay. They go up to D.C., they drink the water, and they become idiots. Well, I'm pretty sure it's in the water.
It is swamp water.
Yeah. So, just search it and find out the next thing that you can go to. Get out there. Let folks know. Everybody counts. Every body counts. I'm done.
All right. Let's see here. I guess I'm starting, aren't I?
We need to work on our segues.
This is one of those wing it shows.
That's right. That'll be fun.
I'm just trying to decide which one I should go to. I have a couple stories here. This is California news, but it pertains to the rest of the country. In 2017, lawmakers passed SB 54, which declared California a sanctuary state. The law prohibits state and local police agencies from notifying the feds about the release of illegal immigrants in custody who could be deported. Activists saw this as a victory for those here illegally because they say those residents have been fearful of interacting with law enforcement because of the fear that they could be deported. Well, God bless Huntington Beach, my old hometown. The city attorney there, Michael Gates, he decided to fight back against this. In 2018, Gates went to the city council saying he wanted to go to court over the issue because SB 54 violated the city's rules as a charter city. The city council agreed, and Gates went to court. In September 2018, an Orange County Superior Court judge ruled that the law is unconstitutional as it applies to charter cities, and that the cities themselves, not the state, know what is best when it comes to their police department.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay.
What is a charter city?
Well, I'm so glad you asked.
Good.
A charter city is a city in which the governing system is defined by the city's own charter document rather than by general law. I'm reading this off of Wikipedia. In states where city charters are allowed by law, a city can adopt or modify its organized charter by decision of its administration. Okay, look, I'm not going to read that. Basically, what it is if you're not a charter city, you just go by the state laws. If you're a charter city, you can kind of make up your own laws. So you can have a city council, or you can pretty much have the city run by a really strong mayor, or there's a few other ones. But a few examples are Oakland, Newport Beach, Huntington Beach, San Francisco, San Luis Obispo, Los Angeles, San Jose, Sacramento. They're all charter cities.
Well, okay, so if you have your own charter, if you write a charter, you can do what you want to do.
Yeah, and basically the lawsuit here, let me find it, and it's really important actually to the entire country, I think. There's 121 charter cities in California out of, I believe, 400 something. Let me see here. Oh, okay, the ruling made not just Huntington Beach, but all California charter cities, 121 of them exempt from complying to SB 54. As you can imagine, the state wasn't happy about that, so the Attorney General's office appealed, and this week a panel of judges on the 4th District Court of Appeals in Santa Ana heard arguments from both sides. Gates argued, now this is Huntington Beach's city attorney, argued that the state cannot prohibit a city police department to comply with SB 54 because California Constitution prevents it, saying in the state Constitution allows the city to control its own police department. SB 54 interferes or undermines that because it means to tell our officers what and what not to do. Now, the state deputy attorney, Jonathan Eisenberg, argued that state concerns supersede municipal ones.
State gets to tell the cities. That sounds familiar.
It does. That's why I'm saying it has. And right now, this is probably going to go to the Supreme Court. It's going to end up doing that. But really, their argument, the state's argument is, we don't care what the Constitution says because this is more important. That's basically their argument. And, of course, the state being California, being run by Democrats, this is kind of their way of thinking with everything. It doesn't matter what the Constitution says because we know this is better than what the Constitution says.
Well, it's not just the California Constitution. If you've noticed, the liberals across the nation think they know more about what we need than our own Constitution, our federal Constitution.
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's why I think this would be good if it went to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court ruled in favor of Huntington Beach, because it'll kind of set a precedent that, look, we don't care what you think. We have a Constitution, and that is the law.
The law. Well, good luck. I hope he does a really good job. Save California. That should be a bumper sticker. Save California.
Yeah, maybe I'll make one of those and make millions.
You going to share?
I'll give you a dime or two.
Okay, I'll take a dime. If you said any more than $1, I was going to call you a damn liberal.
Let's see. Oh, okay. How about this one? Moving on. The House unanimously passed a bill that makes animal cruelty a federal felony. It's called the PACT Act, which stands for Preventing Animal Cruelty and Torture. Now, of course, Democrats love to
animals.
Well, I mean, I think everybody loves animals, but they love they love acronyms. It's always got to be an acronym. The PACT Act, Preventing Animal Cruelty and Torture. It was approved by the House on Tuesday. The bipartisan act, introduced by Florida Congressman Ted Douche, will revise previous law from 2010. He says the torture of innocent animals is abhorrent and should be punished to the fullest extent of the law. Passing PACT Act sends a strong message that this behavior will not be tolerated. Well, didn't any law that we already have pass a strong message saying this will not be tolerated?
Are there any states that do not have such laws?
I do not.
Alabama has that law.
Yeah, I don't know for sure, but I would guess no. And that's kind of why I bring this up, because this is a state issue, not a federal issue.
You know, and I find that very hypocritical. And that was on prepperformance.net, and I can't remember what incident I used as an example, but there was an incident where a child had been harmed. You know, they're worried about animals. Yeah, I'm an animal lover. Everybody is. You know, but seriously, you've got more important things to worry about than animals, because you know what? Guess what? They're just animals. No, you shouldn't mistreat them. You shouldn't torture them. But the states have already determined that you do that, and guess what? You're going to go to state pen. Why is the feds worried about that?
Well, all right, look, it says currently federal law only explicitly prohibits animal fighting and only criminalizes wrongdoers when they create or sell videos depicting the actual animal cruelty. The PACT Act allows authorities to go after the wrongdoers because they will have federal jurisdiction and will not be bound by state laws. They can also prosecute criminals if the cruelty occurs on federal property. Now, let me ask you this. Say you got an illegal alien here and he has dog fighting and he gets caught. Well, now you can't call the feds because that goes against the sanctuary cities. So now we're in a predicament. What do we do?
Well, I'm assuming that the grand and great state of California will take care of it with their state laws, and they'll go after him, right? When they do that? Would they care that he is an illegal immigrant?
Chances are no. They would just say, yeah, don't do that anymore. Okay,
so what you're saying is your illegal immigrants have more rights in our country than we do.
Well, in California, it would seem that way. If this PACT Act is going to be, I mean, it's through the House. I doubt the Senate will.
Now, just remember, okay, in the beginning, the Senate, your senators were supposed to be picked by your state government. And your House of Representatives, they were supposed to have been elected by the people. Okay, now going by that, it seems to me that the people have gone insane.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, which is a shame. What are you drinking?
Diet Coke.
Crap. Anyway, we'll talk about that after we.
Yeah, don't. I got enough people that yell at me about that.
And Hot Nursey's one of them.
Actually, yeah, she is.
Good.
Okay, moving on to something else. I know you have a poll coming up, but I also have a poll here. This poll says a majority of Americans, no matter where they live or the party they typically vote for, think the country is growing apart. On political, racial, and class lines, Americans think divisions are widening, according to a new Georgetown University poll. That division is leading to a dark place, respondents said. Asked how close the country is to the edge of civil war, with 0 being not close at all and 100 being time to get the go bag, Americans say we're at a 67.23. So 2/3 of the country believes we're on our way to bloodshed. The poll,
well, that's hard to argue.
Yeah, the poll also shows how people think we got here. On one side are the Republicans who say the Democrat political leaders and the media are responsible for the division. On the other side, the Democrats who say Trump, his Republican allies, and wealthy special interests are to blame. The only thing the two sides can agree on is that we are screwed.
Well, you know what? We're going to go a little bit more in depth on my segment on that. But yeah, we are being shoved to civil war. Yeah, and I say shoved because guess what? I have some friends at work that they don't think like I do. And we break bread together and have conversations unless it turns to sports, then I walk away and, we're good to go. And in talking with them, if somebody in the shop says something about Trump, it's like, oh, crap, here we go.
Fight Club breaks out.
Huh?
Said Fight Club breaks out.
Exactly. And then a couple of them, of the left-wingers will, well, I would hate to be a Republican now because this is what he's doing. And then somebody said, well, show me some evidence that he's doing that. Because, don't you watch the news? Uh-huh. There you go. And that's where we're going to go in a minute.
I didn't know you worked with Mish.
Mish is not a liberal. People, again, this is prepperforums.net. It's one of our moderators. She's a gorgeous girl, very sweet, and she loves to stir stuff up. She is not a liberal.
I didn't say she was a liberal. I just said I didn't know you worked with her.
She will do things just to get folks talking and thinking.
Yeah, but I think she truly believes some of that crap she says.
Well, maybe. I mean, she and I were on the same side as far as Trump pulling out, just saying, oh, by the way, I'm pulling out. Listen to my tweet. We're leaving Syria, which we didn't. But anyway. Sorry, I just kind of hijacked your point there.
No, that's all right. My point was over. I do have one other story, but it's kind of a Halloween-y type funny story, so we'll leave that one for the end. We can go out on a funny note.
Okay, that'll be great. Well, I guess it's my turn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I hit the wrong tab there. Let's hit this tab. Donald Trump.
Guilty.
Go figure. He said something that really disturbed a lot of people. His tweet, the never-Trumper Republicans, though on respirators with not many left, are in certain ways worse and more dangerous for our country than the do-nothing Democrats, which is wrong. They're doing a lot to stop him from doing our work. But anyway, he says, watch out for them. They are human scum.
I can agree with that.
Human scum. Now, and the reason why I brought this up is because I was watching, well, the TV was on and a cable news channel was on while I'm reading the news, and I heard the panel of people talking about it, and I wasn't really listening until one says, well, don't you think this is going to hurt Donald Trump with the independents? And then I perked up and I started listening a little bit for about 10 seconds, and I switched it over to NCIS. Because Ziva David is hot. Okay, anyway. But I was thinking about that. Will this hurt Donald Trump with the independent voters? Now, first off, an independent voter, to me, they are I know I'm going to hurt some folks' feelings, but this is the way I view them. They are self-righteous. I am above politics. I don't belong to a party. I vote my conscience. Really? Okay, today, you're either with murdering babies, restricting free speech, high taxes, you didn't build that business, all this kind of stuff. You're with socialism. You're with socialism and Satanism. Or on the other side, you're with flip-flop dumbasses, but if pushed, they will do the right thing, the constitutional thing. And Donald Trump is, I don't know how he didn't read the Constitution. And you know what? I know it. Bob don't know.
Maybe he's got a pop-up book.
Maybe he does, but he seems to be doing a lot of right things. Okay, there's a couple of things I'd just like to sit him down and say, look, here's the reason why you're wrong on this, dumbass. But I don't have that kind of power, so I can't. But if you're a never-Trumper, I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent. It doesn't matter whether or not he calls you human scum. You're not going to vote for him, so no. They can sit there and do the hand-wringing all day long. That will not hurt Donald Trump in the election, because if you're not going to vote for him, it doesn't matter what he calls you. Okay. And then somebody else said, well, that's not very presidential. Well, has Donald Trump been presidential since he was, even before he was elected?
Pretty sure that's why we elected him.
He talks like us. So, and on top of that, it's not like, okay, you're a president, okay, stand in this booth here. Now all of a sudden some kind of electronic thing rewires his brain where he's a statesman. He is not a statesman. There is no way, there's no class. You're not going to make a statesman out of Donald Trump. Get over it. He's going to say and tweet what's on his mind, period. Now, moving on. But staying with Donald Trump, because he makes the news. When he's out of office, the news, CNN, MSNBC, they're all tanking anyway. When Donald Trump is out of office, they're going to really crash and burn because he is their fodder. Okay. Anyway, he said all Republicans must remember what they are witnessing, a lynching, but we will win. A lynching.
And wait, let me guess. Mines exploded everywhere.
Blood. They don't have any mines to spew on the sidewalk, but I guess there's some blood in there. So yeah, blood and skull fractures are everywhere. Lynching. He used the word lynching. My gosh, what a racist.
Well, speaking of this, I did hear about this, and did you hear that Morgan Freeman, the voice of God himself, tweeted back at Trump and said, "You're not allowed to use that word, Mr. Racist in Chief."
You know, when I read about this, I thought lynching. I think cowboys. You know, I think cattle rustlers, horse thieves. You know, lynching is when a mob of civilians lay hands on somebody, determine they're guilty, and execute them. Period. You know, they do it without due process. That's what a lynching is.
Mm-hmm.
So, is that just for black folks? So I went on the internet and I did some searching around, and I don't remember the website, but it was breaking. I wouldn't read it anyway because it breaks it down in eras and that kind of stuff and this and that. But basically, 1/3 of the people lynched were white. Believe it or not, white people were lynched as well. Now, if 1/3 of the lynched people were white, does that mean that today's white people, what, they can only say Lynn? They can't use the word lynch. They say Lynn? They can only use 1/3 of the word?
Well, wouldn't that also mean that if 1/3 of the people were white, then another 1/3 were black, and another 1/3 were something else?
Could very well be.
So they can't dominate the entire word because they weren't the only ones being lynched.
Well, and I'm tired of the pop culture saying, we own this word. You can't use it. We only can use it. You know, for example, the N-word. Okay? They can use it in their songs and whatnot, you know, but we can't even utter it when we're talking about the word. Elsewise, we're going to get banned.
Well, yeah, no, I don't agree with them saying you can. Oh, we're the only ones that can use this. No, you're not. It's a word. Anybody can use it. Now, if you use it in a context that is derogatory, then yeah, you might get your ass kicked, but you can still use it.
Or even you don't even have to get your. I'm kicking it back here. Sorry about the nose. Get your ass kicked. You can be shunned, or if nothing else, when somebody. In the course of a conversation talking about somebody, and he whispers, well, you know, he's just a stupid nigger. You know, then I can say, when he does that, I can say, okay, this guy is not too bright. I put a note in my head, this guy is not too bright. You know, speak slowly, use simple words. You know,
and jingle your keys if you want to get out of the conversation.
Right. You know, so if you're telling him he can't use this word, then you're taking one of the flags. You know, people have a flag. We were talking about earlier about prepforums.net. It's too bad that we can't ban idiots. And it'd be nice if we could at least, over his name, sorry, not saying his name, anybody's name that's an idiot on a website, you could put like the letter I over the name so that anybody that's reading what he's writing will say, wait a minute, I'm not reading anymore because I see the I.
It's the scarlet letter of idiot.
Yeah, so when you tell somebody you can't use this word because it's inappropriate. Well, at the same time, I hear GD and the F-bombs on TV now. And I'm not talking about after 10 o'clock. I'm talking about just regular time.
Well, and I hate that because, you know, it's a derogatory word, yes, but at the same time, when a newscast or somebody says it's part of the story that this person said this, but they use, the N-word, it's like, just say it. Say what they said.
Yeah, at this point, the term N-word is the word.
Yeah, pretty much.
Except for it's very difficult to say, you know what, you're a stupid N-word. Yeah, but still, Anyway, moving on. Oh, yeah, no. So we can't use the word lynching. Even though the definition of lynching has nothing to do with race. And all of a sudden, this is where I was going to tie this in. Black folks aren't necessarily, the people of my age, they grew up with Westerners the same. Okay? There's no reason for them to say, well, the word lynching means that my great-grandfather was hung by white people, probably KKK people, or even the people that were never touched by a lynch. Okay? Well, it offends me. The word offends me. Well, where all of a sudden did all this offensiveness, if that's a word, originate? From the media. The media is telling us now how to think, what words we can use, what words we can't use, what words we must jump up and down, grab our skirts, and go around circles because it's offensive. Did you ever know that the word lynch, was offensive to black folks?
I did not.
I did not either. I'm sure some of my black friends would have said, hey, don't say that. This isn't a Western. You're offending me. But they didn't.
I got to say, I wouldn't, if I was angry at a black guy for some reason, I wouldn't say, I'm going to lynch you. That would be probably pretty offensive. But if I just said the word in their, presence, I can't imagine it being offensive.
No, I can't. Well, I would never yell at you. You're a stupid N-word. Because I don't look at people that way. I look at people as individuals.
You're just stupid, period. I don't care what color you are.
That's right. So, but all this ties into something from Campaign for Free Speech.
Okay, hold on. Before you get into that, just real quick, your story made me think of something. This is just absolutely stupid. All right, do you guys have Michael's there in Alabama? It's like a craft store?
Yes.
Okay, well, I guess Michael's has... all right, it's Halloween time, right? What are the colors of Halloween?
Black, orange.
Yeah, that's the basic colors. Fall color, black and orange, right? Mm-hmm. Well, they sell these pumpkins there that are just, for decoration. They're like styrofoam, and they come in black or orange. And, they got little faces painted on them or whatever, just little jack-o'-lanterns.
See where this is going.
So I guess they got a bunch of complaints on their website because the black ones, people were saying, look like blackface. So they discontinued selling them.
I don't know what to say to that.
And I guarantee you the complaints they got were from white people. Probably not black people, probably from white people.
White, self-hating liberals.
Yes, but it made me laugh because I thought of that when you were talking about this. But all right, go on. Tie it together. All
right, this is where it's all tying together on this. All right. This is from the Campaign for Free Speech. The CFS poll results show 51% of Americans think the First Amendment is outdated and should be rewritten. You understand what I just said, right?
Yes, and that's why we live in a constitutional republic, not a democracy.
Right. The First Amendment protects your rights to free speech, free assembly, and the freedom of religion, among other things. 48% believe hate speech should be illegal. Hate speech is not defined. We left it up to the individual participant. Of those, about half think the punishment for hate speech should include possible jail time, while the rest think it should be a ticket or a fine. In other words, we should be like Great Britain.
So what this tells me is the liberal propaganda machine of school is working.
Exactly. Now, 80%, according to this poll, 80% don't actually know what the First Amendment really protects. Those polled believe this statement is true. Here's the statement. The First Amendment allows anyone to say their opinion no matter what, and they are protected by law from any consequences of saying those thoughts or opinions. That is wholly incorrect.
Well, if people knew anything, they would know, like Nancy Pelosi said, the First Amendment means you can't yell wolf in a theater.
Yeah, she's brilliant, isn't she? The First Amendment prevents the government from punishing you for your speech, with exceptions such as yelling fire in a crowded audience to induce panic. Okay, so tying back in, if you want to use the N-word, run around telling people, nigger this, nigger that, fine. But understand that while you're doing that, I'm listening, and I'm judging you by your words, and I will treat you appropriately. I'll speak slowly and take you as an idiot. All right? It's not the government's job to say what I can and can't say. We, the people, can say, okay, you know what, that's inappropriate. Don't say that. Come on, get real. But these people are wanting the First Amendment to be rewritten to make it to where if you say hate speech, which you cannot define hate speech. How do you define it? Well, it's defined because my feelings were hurt. Therefore, it's hateful. Really? Go hang out with Denton for a few minutes.
Well,
he's going to rack up so many charges. He's never going to see the light of day again. You can't do that. Now, here, like you said earlier, go ahead. What did you?
No, I was going to say I have a T-shirt that says "My rights don't end where your feelings begin."
Yes, absolutely. Now, here's the thing: these idiots are so lacking in knowledge, and we've discussed this before. The Bill of Rights is non-negotiable because these things, your freedom of speech, your freedom to assemble, your freedom of religion, your freedom to keep and bear arms, these things are God-given rights. Okay? No government and no person has the authority above God to say that I can't do this. So they can sit there and say, well, we're going to rewrite that. No, you cannot rewrite that because you do not have the authority to do this until you become a greater God than the God of the Bible. You can't do that. So forget it, dude, man, leave. Just shut up. If you want to tell me why you're right, I'll listen, and I'll tell you you're wrong, and I'll walk off. But you don't have the right to tell me what I can and can't say. But this is where our culture is now. Pop culture thinks that they can take away our rights, our Second Amendment rights, our right to speech. Hell, they want to take away the right to, well, excuse me, I don't believe in abominations such as sodomy, so I'm not going to make a wedding cake for you. Oh, really? Well, that's hateful. We're going to take away your business. You don't have the right, dude. Sorry. Oh, one more thing, real quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Texas jury rules to chemically castrate a 7-year-old boy.
I was going to bring this one up.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm just like, wow. Wow, 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 wow.
Yeah. When I first read this, I thought, don't mess with Texas. Trust me, I'm not gonna. Stay away. A father is devastated in Dallas tonight as a jury ruled against his fight to save his son. Okay, I'm going to sum this up. The little kid is 7 years old. His mother is some kind of doctor. His mother has determined that the child is wanting to be a girl. Now, they're divorced. Okay, the man and woman are divorced. She had full custody. And so she is wanting to chemically castrate him so that they can go on with the gender transition. Now, he's 7 years old. Anything this kid knows or thinks he knows, he has gotten from other people. For example, his mother that he's been living with. Okay, so they were going to say, go ahead, you can do the chemical. This is a Texas judge that says, yeah, you have the authority to chemically castrate your son and turn him into a little girl named Luna, which I thought was funny because lunatic.
That's true.
Now, I want to point this out. This is according to the Mayo Clinic. This is the complications of feminizing hormone therapy might include a blood clot in a deep vein, deep vein thrombosis, high triglycerides, a type of fat lipid in your blood, gallstones, weight gain, elevated liver function tests, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, I guess it doesn't matter if you're going to cut it off, infertility, high potassium, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease when at least 2 other cardiovascular risk factors are present, excessive prolactin in your blood, and a decreased life expectancy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, oh, the joys. This crazy-ass woman is wanting to put a 7-year-old boy why is a 7-year-old boy even... They don't talk about sex. You know what I'm saying? He has no concept, yet the mother determined he wants to be a girl. And even if he...
No, when I was 7 years old, I was sure that I was going to grow up to be a Jedi and an X-Wing pilot. And I was going to fly throughout the galaxy fighting the Empire and Darth Vader. That's what I thought when I was 7 years old. That's all I thought when I was 7 years old.
Well, good gosh, your parents didn't shove a nightstick up your butt. That's great. You had normal parents.
But
well, there's been an update. Another judge has said that now the woman is not by herself making the decisions. Another judge says they now have what do you call that?
Parenting?
Co-parenting. And so he has co-decision on what happens to that little boy. So now there's going to be some common sense put into the situation. So I want to tell you the story, and then the update is somebody in Texas has some brain cells left, and he's a judge and has tried what he can do to stop this madness.
Well, that's good. I was going to say, because Hot Nursey has kids, and her ex tries to do stupid things with them sometimes. Not this stupid, but... And they have to co-parent. And part of that is she gets a say whether they should do something or not. And now the bad part about that is he also gets a say. So it can be sort of a tit-for-tat kind of thing when they're trying to decide what is best for the kids. But I know here in California it's co-parenting. They have to both agree.
Well, I hope Texas is the same way, so that the father can kibosh that crap. So, okay, I'm done now. You want to get to the fun things? Because, no, this has been fun.
Yes, I do want to get to the fun thing. Let me scroll down here. I mean, this isn't our normal fun, but it's pretty funny. And it goes with Halloween.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
A group of crazy Democrats are actually putting a spell on the president.
Oh, the Satanist bunch of nuts.
Yes, they are so desperate to get him out of office that a week before Halloween, they plan to put a witch spell on him to remove him from office. The president was not lying when he said that the Democrats are on a witch hunt. Their plan is to gather in thousands in hopes to prevent this current administration from harming the country any further. I'm willing to go on record and say it's working, said Michael Hughes, the self-described magical thinker and activist who came up with the ritual. This guy is nuts, he added. Knowing thousands of people are gathering together at the same time all over the world to do this ritual and to put our beliefs and our desires into sharp focus and to do that ritualistically, I think that has a really powerful effect, said Hughes.
Okay, so these people, this Hughes guy, he's a witch or Satanist or something, and he's wanting to cast a spell, a curse, on a human being, and he calls that human being crazy?
Apparently so.
Wow. I need to start spiking my crystal light again. I'm telling you, this is crazy.
There's also Karen Tibbetts Williams. She's got a hyphenated name, so you know she's crazy. She's another part of the scheme. She said that she expects the spell to work, but when asked how, she didn't have any specific answers. Despite this, she swears something will happen. I've seen it for myself many times over. The power and effectiveness of magic. My confidence in this power and efficacy is our binding. Yeah, I don't know what that means. Well, I guess binding is your spell. I don't know. And the effect which is having is absolute. I don't believe that it works. I know it does, she said. So when Trump's elected to another 4 years, what exactly is going to be her excuse?
Oh, they didn't spell hard enough.
I guess not.
That works for Christians. You know, they'll say, well, why did you not get success on this, whatever you're wanting? Well, I guess I didn't pray enough.
You know what the problem here is with these people is I think they watched one too many Harry Potter movies.
Well, I've been against that show since it came out. It's going to make people crazy. I didn't even want my son to read the books, but again, when you're divorced and the other spouse has all control and authority, you don't have much say-so in anything.
Well, I watched the first movie and I'm like, yeah, that's enough for me. I mean, it was an all right movie. I just just didn't do it for me.
Well, here's the thing. What this hyphenated woman needs to understand. I can tell you how your spells work. It's demonic. Okay, it's spiritual, and there is a spiritual realm, and yes, Satan does have some authority on this world, but you can protect the president. We, as Christians, can protect the president by praying for him. And I guarantee you that our prayers are much stronger than their spells.
All right. Let's just assume that this thing works. Like this lady seems to think so. She thinks it works because she said she's seen it. She knows it works. Okay, why don't you use that witching power to, I don't know, stop human trafficking, or make sure every child on the planet gets to eat tonight, or something constructive like that?
Well, if there was no human trafficking, they wouldn't have anybody to sacrifice on Halloween.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
I just use
And the
local
funny
cats.
thing about it is they're wanting to put a spell on Trump to get rid of him. Well, that's kind of that's rich. That's droll, because he'll be replaced by a professed Christian, Mike Pence.
Yeah, I guess he would be.
So, carry on. Yeah, the world's gone crazy.
It certainly has. It seems to have. It's like the funniest part of this whole thing is if you would have asked any of us, say, 10 years ago, if like this is how the world would be today, we'd be like, there's no way. Yet here we are.
I was pretty sure of it in the 80s. I really was. I mean, just the way things are going, and I'm looking, I was able to understand even younger, humans are stupid. Okay. And the further off the rails they get, the further off the rails they'll get, and even faster. I mean, it's just going to happen. The time's going to be exponential. And yeah, I could see this happening. I really could, because we have no sense. Once you get away from the truth, you'll continue to get away from the truth even faster. So, yeah.
Well, and we all know that every crazy train line has an ending, so maybe that's that whole Civil War thing.
Yep.
Maybe that's where that's where the track's in. That's terminus.
Well, I don't want that. I really don't. But,
I don't think any of us with a sane mind want that, but we're all kind of just standing back going, okay, you guys are headed that way, and if so, we'll have to put a stop to it.
And I'm really glad you said with a sane mind, because you just ruled out Antifa, so that's great. And the thing about it is these Antifa and those kind of morons, whether Antifa or people like to play the knockout game or whatever, you just don't understand. Learn history. You hate white folks. I get it. You blame us for everything. Understood. I didn't do anything, but you blame me. All right. Well, you're not. There's no skin off my nose. But once there's skin off my nose, and once it's collectively, you need to do a little research, a little history. European folks are very tolerant. They'll take a lot of stuff. But once they hit that collective, oh, hell no. We don't get emotional, okay? There are certain groups of people who are very emotional, and they're driven by emotion. Europeans, not so much. So when they hit that point where it's, okay, gloves are off, there will be no emotion that will contain their anger, their drive. So you think you're pushing people around now? You think you're gaining an advantage? You're not. You're just digging your grave.
Well, so much for our lighthearted ending.
Well, damn it. It happens. But on an up note, we also have a great sense of humor. Look at the Irish. Okay. So we may just laugh at you. So anyway, I hope everybody enjoyed this episode of Denton and Sasquatch. This is number something or another. And we'll be back hopefully next week. But anyway, until then, just remember we're going to probably be doomed. So Sass, what should we do?
Drink up and Aaron go brah.
Huh? Anyway, good night.
Dead leaf, seaweed, rotten eggs too. Stir them in my witch's brew. I got magic, alakazam-a-kazoo. Spider web, moldy bread, mucky mud too. Stir them in my witch's brew. I got magic, alakazam-a-kazoo.